Joining him is Marielle Brito, founder and COO of Marielle Brito Law Legal Consulting in Brazil. And Maria, Senior Legal Counsel of Sender Netherlands. And Lujane Gambo, Attorney of Legal Consultant Law Firm of Ahmed Zaki Yamini in Saudi Arabia. And Chris, founder for Conacy.legal Belgium. And Sergio Ricardo, Associate Attorney of Barroso Frontels Barcelos for Brazil.
There's no place for Stijn. Out there, okay. We are okay? Yes, I think it's right. You're not, because
I'm a lecturer, so I speak to my students.
come on, it's even better. Give a guest college next month at university, and I do it every year. And those students these days, they are very critical and ask a lot of questions, and they interrupt you. When I was studying, we were always very calm. These two Belgian students are very.
Excuse me. You need the mic.
Thank you very much. We had some difficulties in sending this over, but it just works with plugging it in. You probably feel a bit toasted, so we try to make this panel discussion a little bit more interactive. But first, please let me introduce first myself and then the panel. My name is Stijn de Zwart. I'm working with a leading publisher of expert data, you can say. Maybe it's good to see who knows Wolters Kluwer here in the audience. I see a small amount. Probably you know a product like LexisNexis. It's very big in the English-speaking countries. Wolters Kluwer makes the leading product in the Dutch market, for instance. But most of the turnover comes from the US in products like health products, also software for law firms, for instance, tax solutions, and even things like software for oil platforms. So the big oil giants, they have the platforms. It's also full of regulation there. There are rules about how close people can come to the border of the platform. And there are software solutions to let those people comply with all this regulation. I have a background in big law, DLA Piper, and after that I went to a middle-sized law firm in the Netherlands. And now for 3 years I'm with Wolters Kluwer. We will come to that topic as well because it will play also a bigger or a smaller role in AI. Next to that, I have my small consultancy firm next to my work with Wolters Kluwer. I manage litigation mostly in Europe. For instance, we've done litigation in most of the countries in Europe, actually, Poland, Belgium, France, the Nordics, especially for international clients. I had several clients in Turkey, for instance. For them, it's very hard to find the good law firms to track the cost of litigation. That's always, as a private practitioner, of course, it's the goal to earn as much as you can, but for companies, it can be the different way around. So then I'm playing the role in between. But please let me introduce also the first panelist, Marielle.
Hi everyone, I'm very happy to be here. This is my first time here for an event like this. And I am Marielle Brito. I'm from Brazil and I work with international law and business law. I founded my law firm in Brazil in 2012 and I'm a lawyer 18 years and I attended more than 4,000 clients in more than 15 countries. And I currently, I produce content for my Instagram and I have more than 90,000 followers, 90,000 followers there. And I hold my master's degree in Portugal, so I have experience in Europe and Brazil. And throughout my career, I combined a legal expertise with a human-centered approach, especially when helping Brazilians living abroad and Brazilians that live in Brazil. And so I'm here for take this moment to talk about algorithmic justice and litigation and how AI tools are reshaping the legal environment. Thank you.
Marielle?
First, okay. Hi, I'm Marielle. I'm a senior legal counsel at a digital freight forwarding company here in Amsterdam for 4 years. I am Brazilian and Portuguese lawyer, double bar. And currently in my role in my company, I work as a commercial legal counsel and a lot with transportation law related matters. And I also have a dual role while reviewing a lot of contracts. I also work with legal operation initiatives, a lot with technology, helping my legal department with innovation and just ways to make the legal department more efficient. So I rolled out 2 legal AI tools in my company, and we will talk a little bit about that today.
Sorry, Sergio.
Hi everyone, my name is Sergio. I'm also from Brazil. I think this is the most Brazilian panel of the event. I'm a senior associate lawyer in Brazil. In my law firm, we deal with some complex regulatory litigation. And previous to this experience, I used to work also as an in-house counsel. So it's interesting today to mix this both experience with the main theme of the panel. So thank you everyone for staying at the last panel. I know it's a bit tiring, but we will try to make it fast and very interesting. Thank you.
Jane?
Hi everyone, my name is Lujain Gamlo. I'm a lawyer in Saudi Arabia. I serve as a lawyer, a managing director, and a soon partner in Ahmed Zaki Yamani Law Firm, the first law firm established in Saudi Arabia in 1955. I have been practicing law for nearly 10 years. Also, I'm a lecturer in University of Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. My company work on different aspect of litigation, arbitration, also corporate advisory.
Chris, please.
Yeah, thank you, Stijn. So my name is Chris. I'm not Brazilian, não falo português. I'm a Belgian technology lawyer, which means that I have a dual background. I am a lawyer, but also a software engineer, and that influences a lot on what I do. I've been working for many decades on the crossroads of law and technology. I've been building rule-based systems even, I think now 30 years ago, before AI really was popping up. Today I'm running a boutique law firm that is specializing in data protection, AI compliance, and all regulations that have something to do with technology, and at least in Europe there are a lot of them. I'm also certified AI compliance officer, which will, in my belief, become very important, as we will discuss in this panel, to implement AI in a trustworthy way. So we need to pay attention to that. If people ask me about where I stand, because sometimes I can be very critical on technological developments, at the same time I embrace them. So I consider myself as a techno-realist. I think we cannot ignore what's happening, we need to embrace it, but we need to do that with sufficient common sense, human oversight, all these things that for now we still have, and the AI systems don't have that yet.
Okay, so let's start with the first topic. That's AI as the next legal exceptionalism challenge. And Chris, to stay with you first, how do we ensure that AI reshapes legal strategy and litigation in ways that preserve trust and fairness?
Okay, that's a fair question. I think the very reason we are all here today, at the end of the second day, those that didn't run home yet, that already proves the point that there is something going on that goes beyond what we are used to see. What I want to say with that is that the development of artificial intelligence, how we're going to use it in the legal profession, it's just not like the next step in some development of a tool. It's something more impactful, it's bigger, it's more disruptive. And there's a theory that kicks in there. It's the theory, I didn't invent it, it has been described in literature, the theory of legal exceptionalism. And that theory says that whenever there is a technological advancement that is so abrupt, that is so disruptive, that we don't feel comfortable anymore. And we don't feel comfortable anymore. That's why we're sitting here and debating this topic. That then it calls to change the law. It calls for a new framework. It calls for new principles. So then it's time for us lawyers, for lawmakers, but also for ethicists, for strategists, to think about, okay, this technology has now arrived. What can we do? What do we need to be able to integrate it in our profession? And we have seen that centuries ago with the invention of trains and automobiles, which was a big trigger to develop the tort law. We saw it with the development of cameras, which sharpened our idea about privacy. So today we have artificial intelligence, and it is a challenge, like, okay, we cannot ignore it, we cannot act as if it's not there anymore. So we should not look away, but we should make sure that we are in control and that we stay in control. And I think that refers to a part of your question. We should certainly not try desperately to find arguments to lock ourselves from this development. We should not block it, we should not exclude it, but we should keep our human oversight. I will keep repeating that word a lot. It's just so important because it makes us also lazy. There will be a lot of failures in AI, which will be a reason for the people who negate it to say, you see, it's all something in the air, in the cloud, it's not for real. But there will also be very impactful realizations with AI, and there the risk is if we become too dependent on it, it might negate who we are as human beings. So we need to stay in control and have the open debate on that.
Do you think that automation should be resisted somewhere, or you fully embrace and you say regulate it?
I absolutely am convinced that we should regulate it carefully, and there's a huge debate going on between the European approach, we have the EU AI Act, and the US approach. In the US they see it as a commercial opportunity, they experiment, if they break it, and they will see about the consequences later. We have a more, let's say, careful approach here in Europe. Some people for whom it doesn't go far enough, not fast enough, will say, yeah, that will put us in a disadvantageous position. Okay, let's forget about US and Europe. When I look into China, China is heavily working on the development of artificial intelligence, so they see the importance, but they also heavily regulate it, but regulate it with the idea to create trust, because without trust there will be no adoption of AI, and without adoption it will die. So I think it should be absolutely regulated so that we have the necessary safeguards. People always, I don't say people are paranoia, but we saw that in privacy, data protection matters as well. I think people need to feel comfortable when they start using systems that do things that they were used to have been serviced by human beings, maybe not always in the best way, and maybe the computer can do it better, but still it's a machine, so that creates a certain discomfort, and we need to regulate that.
Thank you for now, Chris. Marielle, you told you have the very sensitive family practice in Brazil, and of course that cases can be very sensitive. I do not know if cheating is a ground for divorce in Brazil, but in case it is, you can imagine that the court files can be quite spicy. I know that Brazil has also many smaller firms, and I think that is even more so the case for family law practices. What do you think that are the implications for these bigger and smaller firms?
The rise of artificial intelligence in the judiciary. AI systems are already being used in documentary review, outcome prediction, legal risk assessment and damages calculation, automated drafting of legal documents. And countries like US, China, and the UK have advanced tools such as Hose Intelligent, ChatGPT, and a lot of others. And Brazil's judiciary already uses AI for triage of repetitive case, cross-reference public data. But our challenges in Brazil, why is access to AI tools unequal among solo practitioners? First one, high cost of advanced technologies. AI legal tools are often sold under expensive corporate license, out of reach for solo lawyers or small firms. Cutting-edge tools such as AI-generated case law reports, natural language contract review, or behavioral judge analysis require significant investment and ongoing payments. Not this. No. Where is? Don't have the. Tá falando? Where is the all of the slides?
Then I don't have one.
No, don't have?
No.
So, okay. So, real example, mathematical justice and the real justice. Algorithmics excel at logic, but they don't understand the human values, social context, or complex legal nuance. A judge can interpret a case with equity in mind. AI simply replicates patterns. So, and lack of transparency. Many AI tools use the legal system to not explain how they reached a decision or suggestion, make it difficult to challenge the outcomes, and nearly impossible to detect bias without expert audits. And it's this.
Okay, thank you. Lujane, what's your take on this? What is the role for what's the role for the lawyer, and what's the role for AI?
I agree with what Chris and Marielle has said. AI has shifted the balance in litigation actually. In the past, advantage used to come from manpower, how many junior lawyer we need. Now the advantage comes from AI, which use predictive analysis. That's why we're asking ourselves, is this transformation fair, or does it undermine the equal access to justice? However, I cannot react on what Marielle has said on the unfair advantage, as in Saudi Arabia, we don't use case law. Our laws are codified, but I can add the risk of creativity and advocacy. Another risk of what my colleagues has said is the loss of creativity and advocacy. Lawyers are valued for their unique, innovative argument, but AI, it works on probability. It recommends the argument most likely to succeed. If everyone uses the same engine, then legal brief will start to look the same, and judges will start reading a carbon copy of arguments instead of a unique advocacy, which what should be. The role of the lawyer here is to remain the artist, the human who framed the argument in new and strategic way. So about the strategies, yeah, we can move forward with AI. Of course, we cannot ban it, but we can move forward by integrating it with clear safeguards, like mandatory disclosure, which some countries has already started talking about that, like Press said. Mandatory disclosure when AI is used in filing, requiring explainable output that judges can understand, ensuring human oversight in every stage. And like my colleague has said, the EU AI Act in 2024 already treat judicial AI use as a high risk and require transparency and human review. While it does not yet mandate disclosure of AI in brief, we can imagine civil procedure rules requiring it very soon. I think that was my
Okay.
reply.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one comment, because
Yes?
something very interesting you said. It's a question to which I don't have a solution yet, but if the day comes that the rendering of justice, so the judges will be replaced by an AI system, we have in most of the law systems a basic right of a second appeal. I don't know if it's everywhere, but I think it's almost everywhere that we have that basic right of a second appeal. So what in case that your judgment has been made by an AI system and you're not happy by it, you want to appeal it, do you appeal it then to have a run by the same system again? Or does it need to be by a different system with more processing power, more GPU, I don't know, or a system by a different supplier? So these are very basic questions that we have absolutely no idea yet today how we're going to deal with them.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Thank you. Now a different topic. It's the work of junior lawyers and the hourly model. And I'm also wondering actually what the group thinks about this. The idea is not working, but if anybody does not hear me, then please tell me. Chris, can you tell me, do you see already a change in how you can invoice your client?
Absolutely. Well, personally, I don't see it, but I see it in the market, and it makes sense. I think the question as such is rather simple. If a discovery used to take 4 hours to be done by junior lawyers, and today we see, because if AI is good in one thing, for sure it's in document processing. If today that same discovery will take only 1 hour by the AI, so then I think we should be honest. Clients will not keep paying for the additional 3 hours, because we will use AI as lawyers, but our clients, they are not retarded either. They know that AI is around, they know it won't take 4 hours, so they will not be willing to pay that artificially inflated number of hours. And so what we will see is a shift that the client will look for a solution, and he will be more than willing to pay for that solution. So, but we will shift away from a hourly billing model into a more value-based model. And actually, I think it is an opportunity for advisory law firms where we can step up the game a little bit. What I see today on the client side, whenever there is frustration, is okay, it's always about the bill, and it's always too much, but above all, it's about the fact, yeah, you're very smart, you give me all these regulations and articles of the law, and you're pointing with your finger, you should not do this, but you don't solve my problem. So I think the time that we free ourselves of doing all those research and discovery procedures, we should use it for the better, in order to come closer to our client, to help them to resolve their problem. So it's a shift of hourly model towards a value-based model. So it's a shift in business model, but above all, it will be a shift in the education model for young lawyers as well. And throughout my career, I have been helping a lot of young lawyers to start their career. And I think it might for a while become more difficult for them. Because what we are looking for is, it's also, AI will not change only the business model, it will change the profession as such. We will become less like text editors, and we will have to step up and become more solution architects.
Okay.
I hope it's not me. Okay. So I think the shift is not only a business model shift, because if somewhere in the boardroom of a law firm they decide we're not going to bill the clients per hour, we're going to bill a fixed fee for a solution, that will not solve the problem. I think we'll need to address also how we are going to assist our clients to build those solutions. Look into it like if you build a house. Imagine you have today a computer that can already lay the bricks. You will still need an architect to make the plan, to make sure it's structural safe, that it fits the needs of the person who commissioned to build the house. So I think that's where the lawyer will need to step in and even to strengthen his position.
Thank you. We now spoke to the construction guy, but I'm very curious about the client, actually.
Indeed. So as a client, but basically I work for a company, so I'm an in-house lawyer, and the fact is we're hiring law firms, not regularly because of budget constraints. I bet that everybody that works as a company lawyer will understand that. But whenever we then outsource and ask a law firm to provide us services, it's because I cannot do the research myself, so it's mostly for very specialized cases, and then I seek for support from a law firm to actually solve my problem. So if I would then receive an advice that it's 30 pages just stating the articles to me and not actually solving my problem, that will make me really upset, right? So I think that's really important as well to have law firms to understand how can we use AI to solve our clients' problems, and how can we make this more advantageous as well for the companies that are sourcing law firms to support them in this. And I think that, you know, we as in-house lawyers, we always have problems with budgets because we are a cost center in stakeholders in the company. So I think law firms should keep that in mind, definitely.
Yes, indeed. And what do you think about the junior lawyer?
Yeah, so the legal profession is known to be conservative and traditional, right? So that setup of paralegals, assistants, lawyers, you know, working on many different hours on the same cases, that will be finished. I see from the company right now with the use of AI that everyone can do research, and I think that will also support you know, the lawyers that are working on the cases. So I guess that these juniors will face problems, and we need to adjust on how they will be educated. I think that's a very good point that we need to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. My personal take on this: I was first a commercial lawyer, and I went in-house now. Yeah, it's very refreshing that you do not have that conflict of interest. That if you find the correct answer after 5 minutes, you can even forward that case and say, "Oh, pretty straightforward. Look." Or here is just an advice, I found it somewhere, we can share it. And everyone is happy in your company because they have a question like, can I fire this guy now because he overslept and it was not the first time or not? Yeah. And you do not feel forced to bring up the 30 pages.
No one will ever read them. So as a company lawyer, I need to be fast, I need to be business oriented, and I need to be concise. So that's what law firms also need to understand when providing services. Yeah.
Thank you, Maria. Sergio, you have also an interesting background with being in-house and in a law firm now. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I totally agree with Maria regarding junior lawyers. I think they have like basically some junior tasks that are very simple and very fast every day. But nowadays with the AI tools, I think these kind of tasks we can speed up and do more fast without the juniors. But it doesn't mean necessarily that we will vanish all the junior lawyers. I think they keep their role unreplaceable, but in a different way. Maybe they keep the output, the control of the output of the AI tools and the AI designs, in order to be like a monitor and some people that are controlling and relying on the information that the AIs are outputting. So we are not replacing at all the juniors, in my opinion, but all the tasks that are heavy, simple tasks like summarizing documents or the first draft of a document, for example, we can use the AI tools, including by the junior lawyers. They can use these tools and simplify the work for the senior lawyers and the partners. So it's not at all a vanishable, replaceable time for the junior lawyers, but I think we will change the mindset regarding their daily work, their daily tasks.
Yes, and probably there is a good chance for juniors too, because we are all not fresh from college, and I don't know how it's about you, but sometimes I feel insecure about how to use AI as well. So hopefully there will be also time for this in law schools to educate the juniors how to work with AI. And hopefully for them there will be some new roles they can fulfill too. Let's go to the next topic, and that's how AI supports legal efficiency strategy in contract management. Maria.
Yeah. So as an in-house counsel, I think that the industry that I work in, which is logistics, the volume of the contracts, the number of the contracts that we get are just too many. So it's impossible with a team of 9 lawyers to just be efficient because we are having to review contracts on a daily basis and the number is just too high. So what, from a personal experience, what we did is we tried to implement AI to support us in the efficiency and of the review of the contracts, right? So the legal department, how we keep growing and how the company grows, that we try to not increase the headcount of the team because it's just impossible to keep hiring 50 lawyers for the size of the company that we're in. So we just need to utilize AI tools to be more efficient. So what I do and what we implemented in my company, it's automation. So we tried, for example, to generate contracts, templates to the business that can just help them to just utilize our templates and they just work more efficiently. So we don't have to keep reviewing every little document and keep receiving repetitive requests from the business. It becomes a blocker, right? Second thing that we did, also we try to map what are our main pain points. So is the repository, where are our contracts, what are the issues that we face? How can we become faster? How can we become more efficient? So mapping out the problem, it's just how you can also become more efficient in the company. I think one important point of using AI is also having data extraction. What's important that your stakeholders ask you very often? What kind of data do they need? Do they need to know when the contracts are going to expire? You know, is the AI flagging deviations that are important for your company for you to just be aware, right? So that's what we do. And other things that we're trying to do this year as well with playbooks and guidelines. What are the clauses that are most important? What are the clauses that we negotiate the most in our contracts? Map these out, provide a template and a playbook to the business. Also training them, enhancing the knowledge of these stakeholders is very important. Because if the more knowledgeable stakeholders are, the less they will come to the lawyers with all sorts of questions that actually don't need to be answered necessarily by a lawyer, right? So we're trying to give more reoccurring trainings to the stakeholders and also enforcing that they utilize research tools that they have in their power within the guidelines that the legal department provides, but so that they become also more independent. So that just becomes more efficient as a whole, you know, the systemic of the company that we're in. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Maria. What I also saw in daily practice is that it's very clever what you do, and good businesses do this. Try to push that legal workflow down the pipeline, and hopefully you're sure that a sales manager complies with that and do not want to take the business. So that's the first risk, that a salesperson still overrides that and he thinks, okay, for me it's totally fine to litigate in somewhere very far away because in the worst case scenario I have a nice trip.
Yeah, true.
And the other thing that I saw is that at the end it can be still difficult for the people in the business to use AI. So maybe there is a chance for lawyers, especially in-house lawyers too, that at the end you will still be a little bit the expert of your AI tool.
Yes, true. I mean, what we do is indeed provide training and also push people and to tell them this is an advantage for you. And with the risk of a salesperson, we provide very strict guidelines. And then with the playbook, then it will give them, okay, you can also do a threshold of what they need to escalate, which matters they escalate to the correct person, and people that are responsible for approving, not approving certain clauses. So that's how we also keep the order in place.
Thank you. And maybe you can use AI in a way that you cannot give a green light as a salesperson below the threshold.
Indeed.
So you go more to software probably, but yeah.
Indeed.
Jane, what's your take on that?
I'm impressed with the answer of Maria. Really, the contracts are the backbone of commerce. And AI now touching every stage of the life cycle of a contract, starting from intake, drafting, negotiating, execution, and even compliance. The important thing here is we must emphasize AI does not replace the human judgment. there have to be a governance, means mandatory human review, like Maria said, for sensitive clauses, audit trail to track AI suggestion, and clear limits, AI support, but the lawyer decides. For example, in jurisdiction, AI may choose a country because of the efficiency, let's say, but strategically, as lawyers or as a company, I will choose another country. Lawyers are no longer executor of routine review anymore, but strategists. AI free times for lawyer on negotiation, risk assessment, and building long-term business relation with other companies. So I agree.
Thank you. Sergio, when we had a discussion yesterday, you told me something about how you selected Gemini AI in your law firm. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, basically on our daily tasks, we use AI tools, of course, but we usually compare the same task in between two different platforms. So depending on the task, I see that the output of each platform indicates a different focus on that answers. So if I'm writing like a draft of email or a petition and appeal, or even summarizing documents or doing a legal research, when we ask the same thing to different AI tools, they have different mindsets, they have different outputs. So coming back to the first answer regarding the junior lawyers, that's why they are not fully replaceable, because AI tools, they have their own mindsets, they make mistakes, they have wrong outputs as well. So we have to monitor and do due diligence checks also in order to prevent some kind of bias and wrong analysis. And this is the daily challenge regarding the legal aspects, because we use the AI tools to speed up our work, but sometimes they are not fully focused on the way we have to go on our task, for example, in the litigation case. So I prefer to compare 2 or 3 different types of platforms in order to see the better results, and then I put my conclusion in order to monitor the results for itself.
Okay, thank you. I believe, but maybe I'm wrong, so I can learn from you, but I believe there are actually 2 ecosystems. That's Google or Microsoft, right? Who of you is using Microsoft as infrastructure, like Outlook, Windows, Copilot? And do you see then that you stick to that ecosystem? So for instance, do you use Copilot too, if you may say? Yeah. Yeah, also for you, for instance, yes? What do you use?
We use it only for infrastructure, not Copilot yet.
Okay.
People use it to take notes and summarize things.
Do you use then another AI tool or not?
OpenAI.
OpenAI, yeah, ChatGPT, yeah. And what about you?
We work together.
Sorry, I look a little bit down now. Yes? Yeah.
I use a mix of both actually. So I use like Word, Microsoft Word, and then I use things from Google. So it's a mix of both.
Yeah.
Sergio, what's your take on this? Should you be in that ecosystem, or are you free to shop around?
Yeah. In Brazil, some law firms, they have a built-in software, so they made their own softwares, like legal softwares, but most of the law firms, because it's very expensive to have its own software developed, they use the most famous platforms, like you said, the Gemini or ChatGPT or Copilot. So basically, in our law firm, we use the most famous open sources, these kind of platforms. And we see different outputs between these platforms. And for some kind of works, for example, Gemini delivers a better job. For example, legal drafts, for example, legal appeals. For other jobs, summarizing documents, for example, I think Gemini, OpenAI, offers a better summarized job. So it depends on each question, each task, the outputs are different. So that's why we are in a very early stage of knowing the platforms, developing it every month, every year. They have like updates and becoming better and better. So in the first early stage that we are, we have to keep monitoring these platforms and these outputs because they are very different, they make mistakes, and the results depends on each lawyer with which way we want to go.
Yes, it's nice to hear both from the in-house perspective and the law firm how professionally you took that exercise to find the tools that fit you. So thank you for sharing that. But what can be a problem then is, do you feed confidential information to AI? And I'm also wondering about, we unfortunately don't have time for that, but I'm also wondering for all of you, are you just freely uploading it to ChatGPT or not? What do you do, Sergio?
In my law firm, we have like a AI policy, but it's not common. Not all firms, law firms, they have like an AI policy. They prohibit the lawyers to input confidentiality information, of course. But in Brazil, specifically in Brazil, the lawsuits are, most lawsuits are public. So if I put like a legal draft in the system, it's not a confidentiality document because I can search for each lawsuit regarding the trial court systems and access these documents. So I'm not giving the platform a confidentiality or prohibited documents according to the AI policy of my law firm. But if I'm dealing with a client like a chain of emails, a thread of emails, and dealing with personal information or something that we are not allowed to put in these platforms, we avoid this kind of tools because of these policies in the law firms that does not allow the lawyers to use AI tools when we have personal informations or sensitive informations regarding this kind of emails between client and lawyer conversations.
Thank you. How you do this, Maria?
Yeah, we don't feed company information in open source AI. So what we do in my company, so we make sure that we train the employees on confidentiality obligations, right? That's the first thing we do. And we also make sure that we enforce these trainings on the employees. Second, when we're sourcing an AI tool, we properly vet that AI tool and where the data flow is actually going to. So that's very important that you understand your provider and you actually do research about where that data is going. And what we also do, we heavily negotiate the contract with that provider, right? So to make sure that it also fits our needs whenever we're signing. I mean, my company, at least, we have our own software as well, so that we use internally. And with the contract management tool that we do use, we know exactly where the data is going. So
yeah. So you select your AI tool well.
Yes. Exactly.
And especially when you have to upload confidential information,
Indeed.
and that can be actually everywhere.
Yeah.
Excel is also full of confidential information because you have clients there, you have turnover for any client. So
Yes.
you need to trust your your software
Provider, indeed.
providers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Lujane, what about confidential information in Saudi Arabia? Your microphone.
It's a bit different than what Sergio and Maria has said, because in Saudi Arabia, our legal system is not based on case law. So the cases are confidential. It's not public. It's not allowed to everyone. So I'm strictly prohibited to use any cases related to my client, even if I earn the judgment. The Saudi Ministry of Justice periodically publish some judgment after removing the name and information of the plaintiff and defendant. These are the information that we can use. I can't use any other information except if it was my client case, and I'm working on his case now, so that's the only way to use it. However, if I want to use AI, I just feed him with the facts of the case, ask him to search for a law or an act in a regulation or a law. That's the only way that we can use it.
Thank you. So in Saudi Arabia, almost everything is confidential.
Yes.
And I understood that even court verdicts are, let's say under embargo for 2 years, right?
Yeah, they periodically publish some judgment and stuff, but no, I can't use the judgment. Yes, it's confidential. Especially now after COVID, everything is online. Before I could have joined any other session, but now after COVID, it's online. So it's only me, the judge, and the other party.
Okay, thank you. Chris, you had something to say about it?
No, I'm happy to hear that people are really experimenting and, like as Sergio indicated, don't accept something because it's part of your O365 subscription. I mean, you can try Copilot, and I think they certainly have a competitive advantage there, but I would indeed say look around what's available, compare the results, and, well, we are probably an audience full of lawyers. I would say read the damn terms and conditions, because it's also very important. I had a client asking me only a few weeks ago, can I, in my company, use this transcription software? For some reason, he didn't want to use the one that was built in Teams from O365. And that was a software from a very weird company, a garage company. When I looked into the terms and conditions, the recordings, in order to do the transcription, would have kept forever. I don't see the reason why you would do that, because when it's transcribed, you don't need the recordings anymore. And there were even no means in his dashboard to delete them. So I said, okay, you do what you want, but I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, thank you. Now we go to a particular sensitive topic, I think, and that is to what extent the courts can use AI, and to what extent do we accept that part of a verdict, the whole verdict, was created by AI. Marielle, can I first give the word to you, and if it's all right, these slides are about your topic.
So about this is the risk of biased decisions based on discriminatory historical data. In my case, because racism, gender, and homophobic, and other things like this. And AI, they are very just replying judgments, and the human judge like equity, values, sensitive, and human, like a human. So it's important this because the AI never will be in. It's not good for my area. It is the human is better for our judgments, always, I think.
Yeah, you have here a real example. It's also.
Yeah. For example, where is here, money? In the US, the COMPAS system used to access recidivism risk in criminal sentence and was found to rate black individuals as higher risk than white individuals with similar records. This is a clear case of algorithmic racial bias. And some key benefits of AI in legal practice is increased productive and efficiency, fewer human errors in repetitive tasks, lower costs when analyzing large data sets, faster access to justice in mass litigation, and strategic support for complex legal decisions. And using AI, you can yes. Real example, use AI to map case law international custody disputes within seconds. Optimize defense strategies across multiple jurisdictions.
Okay, thank you. Sergio, you told me something about the Brazilian practice now to summarize cases. And this is something the court is doing. So that's the first mini step towards this deployment of AI by courts.
Yeah, the courts in Brazil, they are facing these days 84 million lawsuits. They are active for 84 million lawsuits that are waiting for a final decision, for a judgment. So it's natural that these trial courts that face overloads of lawsuits every day. They are trying to find AI tools to speed up their works, specifically the superior courts. They are trying to find a way to fast up the admissibility of special appeals. Because in Brazil, the special appeals, they must fill some requirements in order to reach the Supreme Court, for example. And these requirements are very clear. If a AI tool can analyze a case and replace a human analysis in order to fill the cases, fill these requirements, it would speed up the trial court's work every day. Because every year the Supreme Court receives 200,000 lawsuits, special appeals. So if we have like an AI tool used by the judges, used by the trial courts, it will help very much the court jobs every day. And I personally daily see it. Last month I saw a judge that used AI tool to summarize the beginning of a final decision. He was issuing a decision, and in Brazil it's very common, the judge, he summarizes the case and then comes the verdicts, the results. So he used the AI tool to summarize and put a disclaimer in the decision that the summarization was made by AI. That was the first time I saw a judge putting this disclaimer in a final decision. So I think it's helpful because so we have 84 million lawsuits because we don't have so many judges to deal with so many cases. If the AI tools can help us speed up this process, we can maybe reduce this overload of lawsuits in Brazil. But of course, we have to be careful with it because AI tools are not 100% reliable. We cannot trust 100% of the outputs. So it's a risk analysis that the trial courts have to make in order to use more AI tools daily in their practice.
Yes, thank you. I'm a fanatic Democrat, so I want to know your opinion too, but also of the panel. Who believes that you need a disclaimer when you use AI? So first, please vote for yes. So this is very good what the Brazilian court did. They have the summary and they just say AI summary. So you know, like, it's not very relevant from the perspective of law, maybe. And who believes it's not needed? Because you playing the devil's advocate, and personally, maybe I also believe that it's not needed. Why do you think it's not needed?
Because end of the day, the person who is responsible for submitting it, he has to review it. So that is not needed, I believe, for that reason.
Yes, I agree with you. It's like that you do not necessarily say that you copy-paste. If you made somewhere a note 5 years ago or last week, and you want to reuse that, yeah, maybe it's self-plagiarism, but that's normally okay to do. And I think this relates to that early stages of development, like the train, where people were afraid, like, oh, we go too fast, we will be all sick. But yes, you are responsible as a lawyer, so that's very, very important. But when it comes to work from the courts, maybe it's nice to know that something is AI created. Sorry, you had a short comment to make too?
Yes, I wanted to comment on the summary, especially in respect of the judgment. Because what I know is that when it comes to litigation, the parties have a challenge and they have brought it to the judge that is supposed to be an independent and neutral person to determine the matter. So if you determine the matter and you put a caveat there, then it means that there's no finality to the dispute resolution, because you come to court or you go for finality to a particular matter without any room for any doubt. So I see it to be problematic, because if it is a legal opinion that you put there, then it can be presumed to be an assumption or a presumption which requires the person relying on the opinion to do further checks. But if it is a judgment, it's supposed to be final. so that you can enforce, or you decide whether you want to appeal or not. Thank you.
Thank you. Maria, you're also from Brazil, and we learned that it's one of the most litigious countries in the world.
Yeah.
Do you see that there can be a role for AI to limit that enormous amount of appeals where people maybe don't take serious the first instance trial anymore?
Yeah, I hope so, because as he was saying, the judiciary system in Brazil is extremely cluttered, and it's just inefficient. And decisions, and you know, the court takes years, and I hope that there is another way to work to become more efficient and help people actually. Yeah.
Yes, we were a little bit thinking out loud yesterday, and then we created a sort of idea that it would maybe nice, even not even for the Netherlands, actually in every jurisdiction, that in such a case where an appeal is only admissible based on certain grounds, that AI reads that submission first, it can put up red flags, like this is not so the lawyer can improve his work. Maybe even better that the lawyer, under his professional rules, needs to inform his client that he submitted something that that leads to a red flag in the system, because yeah, we are all commercial as lawyers. It can be a threat for the whole system of justice if the people who are seeking justice are dragged into litigation, which is not that, which has not good chances. So I think that can improve the whole process of litigation quite a lot, without giving the full responsibility to AI.
Yeah.
Of course.
As you said, I think we are in the early stages of evolution in AI. All of us, specifically in Brazil, are learning how to use these AI tools, and they have risks. For example, last month, a lawyer used ChatGPT to draft a legal appeal, and ChatGPT sometimes hallucinates, and it showed a case law that doesn't exist at all. So it basically invented that case law, and the lawyer didn't check out the truth sources, and didn't check out if that case law really exists. He put this in the legal draft and filed this appeal, and the court noticed that the case law doesn't exist, and this lawyer is facing legal penalties these days in Brazil because he didn't do this due diligence of checking the case law, because some platforms, some AI tools, they want to give you like a best customer user experience. So sometimes they will not answer, I don't have the answer. They prefer to create an answer and pleasure you with this answer, even if it's not true. That's the most problem, the biggest problem regarding case law and the use of AI tools in the trial courts, because they can replace judgment case laws that doesn't exist. And if the judges doesn't see that this case law doesn't exist, he replies it. And then we have like a case law that doesn't exist being replied by all tribunals in Brazil, or by all lawyers. So we have to be careful with the use of AI tools. They are very powerful. They help us nowadays with basically all tasks during the office tasks. But sometimes they hallucinate, and they brought us false information, fake information, and we have to be careful with that, especially the trial courts, because they have like a full responsibility with the judgments and the information they give to the people, to the population.
Yeah. Probably we are all getting used to AI,
yeah.
And we make mistakes because we are actually all quite inexperienced. Because no one is doing this for 10 years already. Chris, you told me about the hype cycle, and do you have an idea where we are in now? I was wondering.
Yes, I have an idea, and I'm happy to hear the words we are all experimenting, and we will try, and we will sometimes succeed, and we will often fail, and we will have to adapt our strategies. I think that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to solve a problem, being the enormous pile of pending cases and how can we make progress there. So I think it's the famous hype cycle, the Gartner hype cycle, where in the beginning of something very new, technological, everyone is hyping it, it's going to change the world, it's going to solve all the problems. AI will be good for climate change, although it's using an enormous amount of electricity and water and all that stuff. It's going to work away all our delays in the courts. It's going to make sure that I can give the best legal opinions to my clients. So we are building an enormously high expectation. It's really skyrocketing. But then we come to the point that we see also the limitations. And I think one of the most vague requirements of the European AI Act, but for me the most important one, is AI literacy. And now I'm speaking with my technological background. If we understand how these systems work, we should not be surprised that they also give us rubbish answers, that they hallucinate, that they make up things. They are just made to please us on a statistical way. So,
like your junior, to be frank.
Yeah, like a junior. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's very true. Only the junior, usually you can improve him or her, but the AI keeps doing the same thing quite often. So I think we are at this moment at the peak of that high expectation, which also explains why all these legal tech startups with very brilliant engineers, backed with tons of money by VC venture capitalists, that they're all creating and releasing new stuff. But soon we will be confronted like, okay, but it will only be able to solve a part of our problems. And then we will fall down to that deep sleep slope of disillusion. And then it's a matter of not releasing, just keep going, building up, learning the lessons from the disappointment, creating really useful cases, because we will see what has failed, what has been successful, and then we will come to a moderate level of acceptance of AI. But today, I'm afraid that in general, we are still on that very high peak, why I can only urge you, try it, play with it, but be so critical and be prepared for the worst. Expect the best, but be prepared for the worst.
Thank you very much. I'm speaking here in my own capacity in this whole forum, but what keeps me busy, not awake, fortunately, is also the question, who are the winners in this AI revolution? And I think this is a question that keeps many people awake. Also because of the hype cycle, there will be totally wrong investments at this moment that will turn out super bad in 5 years. I'm wondering, do you have a view on who will be, which kind of parties will be a clear winner or a clear loser in this AI revolution?
I can express my hopes. First of all, I actually don't believe it will be the legal tech ventures, because they're driven by the hype, by making quick money. They are smart people. Many of those are my clients, and they are very smart engineers, brilliant data scientists and all that stuff, but they don't have any feeling with the legal profession. So I don't think the solution comes from that direction. Then I was thinking when I was driving here, not realizing that you're working for Wolters Kluwer, that it will not come either from the traditional publishers and data information providers. And why I don't think it will not come from them, because there is a conflict of interest. I think publishers like Wolters Kluwer have to invest largely in creating a new business model, but that will eat into their old existing business model. So it will go too slow, I'm afraid, for them. So, but my biggest hope is that the real winners will be the lawyers and the legal profession and the law firms themselves. But under the condition that they see technology not as a sidetrack, but that they really see it as part of their core business, meaning they need still to hire junior lawyers, please keep doing that, but they also need to hire data scientists, AI developers, strategists and stuff like that, because they are close to what they need to bring their legal profession to that next level, and I think they are the only ones that can build a really reliable solution.
Thank you.
Can I give an opinion?
Yes, sure.
It's funny that you're talking that the legal tech
Yep.
might not be the runner, right?
Yep.
But there are legal tech suppliers that hire lawyers and software developers, because then lawyers know what they need, right? What we need. So I see a lot of people, lawyers in-house actually, moving to the other side, working for vendors. And that's very interesting because we understand the pain points and we know how to fix them. So it's just an idea, right?
Yeah, I agree. If there is a future for certain legal tech companies, then it's for those that are willing to be led by the guidance of the experienced lawyers. Yeah.
Someone from the audience that has an opinion on this?
Thank you very much for such a wonderful discussion. I am Mohammed from Pakistan as a practicing lawyer. I feel as the things are moving towards artificial intelligence, and I think in some countries they have made it mandatory that judges who are using AI, they should disclose in their judgment that the judgment is based on AI. So as the things, I feel the time to come, the more requirement will come for the lawyers as well as when you will go for filing some petition or case, whatever it is, family law or corporate or commercial, whatever it is. Maybe you need to file as well that something is based on AI and something is not based on AI. So we need to feel that the time has come. We need to equip this new technologies and how to use. That's very useful that all the aspects what we have discussed for the newcomers and for the older generation as well, because people, those who are not friendly to this new technology, it's very difficult for them to understand this, what the AI is and how to use it, because we people, we are using same style research, that we are going for the judgments, we are going to the books, and we rely on something what we have seen, read, and what is credible, and because in the courts, credibility of the evidence, that matters a lot. And maybe at some point of time, the big players, those who are running the search engines, they make it biased, they make the search as what they want, because everything that is going in and coming out, we need to get it verified by our own resources, by our own lawyers, by our own knowledge. So this was my take on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What is maybe good? Yeah, Eugene, please.
So I also agree with you, especially when dealing with AI evidence. It can be a dangerous weapon. We really need a global standard for how AI evidence is handled in court worldwide. As we all know, AI evidence can take many forms, like audios and video, deep fake videos, documents, audio, algorithmic. For each of those, like you said, raises the question of admissibility and authenticity. For example, the deep fake videos. Anyone who can use a deep fake video, in my opinion, need to disclose that. AI evidence. The dangers of deepfake videos is their emotional impact, even before the verification. For example, if there was a video showing a politician who's taking a bribe, the damage has happened in front of the judge and in front of the jury and in front of everyone. And unfortunately, some tools like Reality Defender and Deepware Scanner, they do exist, but they're not 100% accurate. So what can lawyers do? There is unfortunately a few things that they can do, and it's not reliable 100%, like motion to exclude, asking for expert report, counter narrative like supporting timelines and witnesses and so on. Some countries like China and the GDPR like the GDPR in Europe, said that synthetic videos or audios that use personal data without consent can be considered privacy violation, making them inadmissible. Also in China, in 2023, all AI-generated media must carry a watermark and disclosure of origin. Court may reject any synthetic evidence lacking this. This creates a cross-border dilemma. Evidence may be valid in one jurisdiction, but unfortunately not in the other jurisdiction. So I agree.
Thank you very much. I think that I can thank you for all your patience. It was a really interesting World Lawyers Forum this year, I believe. Thank you to the panel. We will not know what the future brings for sure, and maybe that's good. We are somewhere in this hype cycle. If you look back to the stock price of Wolters Kluwer for the last year, it has been, I worked there for only 3 years, but it has been up from 90 to 150 plus dividends, back to 113. Because especially as a lawyer, you can make very good arguments why it would be a successful company in AI, because it has the data, it has tons of legal articles, what it can use. It has contact with good lawyers everywhere in the field. It had legal forms in the past that it sold. Yeah, that's that's very close to AI, of course. But you can also say, yeah, this will be all taken over. So we really do not know, and I think that's good. Chris, maybe a last thing, if you want to know more about this topic, do you? I see now the mic is gone. Or not?
I can speak without the mic.
Okay.
I think when we prepared for this panel, I told you about Patrick Suskind, who has been writing also for a long time about the future of the legal profession. He has very interesting views on how we need to reinvent the way that we are advising our clients. So if there's some topic that I would recommend you to read, it's his books. He has several, but I would say since everything is evolving so quickly, start just with the latest one. Yeah. And so the name is Patrick Suskind. It's a very interesting literature for everyone who has some concerns about where are we going to.
And it's a thin book, and if you're even too lazy for that, you can probably ask AI to give us some.
Oh yes, you can ask in Gemini or in Notebook LLM to make a podcast out of it. That works very fine.
Thank you very much, all of the panelists.
We have the last question.
Thank you very much to the moderator for touching a very recent issue, AI technology, how help the legal issues, but legal integrity. As you are not familiar earlier, many questions are bubbling in our mind. Some are covered up by the moderators, some are in problem. Mainly, if I don't mistake, I think we are not covered up by the mathematical justice. How algorithm helps the AI to take decisions. And my another thinking is that which forum first we will initiate it, any case or any complaint. Lower court, higher court, Supreme Court, or any tribunal or a special tribunal. We are not sure about that. And my another question is about sensitive or privileged document. Some moderator explained privileged document, all document drafting to the public, but privileged document to the email to other party. But which document we are reluctant to disclose the other party, how we control, how we familiar with the court or other party. This is my another questions. And
thank you.
Okay.
I think it's good to have a broader discussion.
Briefly, if you know within 1 minute, one question, 3 minutes.
Yeah, maybe it's good to focus on that question about the legal privilege.
Yeah, legal privilege.
And then the others.
And mathematical justice and the forum of them.
Yeah, we heard it before in this summit, like it would be very nice to speak 3 days about only the algorithm justice.
I missed the point.
So I will ask the panel, does one of you have an opinion about either the algorithm justice or the legal privilege?
Thank you for your question. Regarding the first topic, mathematical justice, right? It's difficult to say this in Brazil because it's not black and white. Sometimes the justice is dealing with gray questions, you know? So it's not so simple when you file an appeal to say to the client that you will get success on the lawsuit. Each case must be analyzed by the judge, and the same judge can issue a final decision based on principles, based on articles of the law, but the other judge can rule a different decision based on different principles or different articles. So it's not so simple in order us to think about an AI tool that can fix each case in each box, you know, in order to speed up the judgments. I told here an example with the Supreme Court of Brazil, because specifically in this case, we have like very clear requirements for the special appeal to reach the higher tribunal. So in this case, I think the AI tools can help, because it's clear that some cases are A, some cases are B, and then the A cases can reach the tribunal and the B cases cannot, because the law is very clear at that point. But it's difficult to talk about it with all the judges and all the levels of the courts, because the articles and principles that are ruled by the judges are very confusing. So it's not clear for us, neither for the AI tools in these very early stages that we are in this evolution. This is the first topic you told. And the second topic about confidentiality, in the daily work at the law firm, we avoid putting confidentiality documents such as emails, client privilege information, emails, threads of emails. And in the lawsuits, these documents, when they are attached to the lawsuits, they stay under like a disclaimer. Yeah, not all the population can enter the lawsuits, the files, and see this kind of documents. So it's a challenge also for the AI tools to rule or to issue a final decision when some kind of documents that were attached to the lawsuits are not public. So we have to think about your question. It's a very good question, but we don't have like a clear answer, because things are getting traction in Brazil, for example. We don't have like a regulatory framework already done. We are discussing it. Since we have not a clear EU Act, as we spoke in the previous panels, we cannot give you like a right answer to this question in this specific case. Maybe other colleagues from Europe or other countries that are more developed in the AI legal frameworks they have this kind of tools more implemented in their countries and can help us with specific cases like you said.
Thank you, Sergio. I understood we have time for one question more, so thank you.
I'd first like to thank you all for coming here today and sharing with us all your wisdom and for a very successful panel. My name is Celine. I'm both a student whilst also currently practicing as a junior lawyer, and I'm here on behalf of Voice, a youth think tank. So the firm I'm currently at in London, like most, is still operating on a traditional model whereby you go from sort of being, in my case, sort of an apprentice to then a trainee and then up there to a partner. So Marie and Chris, you were briefly talking about a potential shift that AI disruption will cause, whereby there'll be a shift in the business model to a more value-based model, as that is more cost-effective from Maria's perspective as a client. So my first question would be that if you would hazard a guess, when do you think the timeline for this shift will actually be? And then my second question is that obviously as a junior lawyer, we don't really quite have as much value yet as, let's say, a partner. So how can we make ourselves of value? You know, what sort of things can we be doing proactively to educate ourselves, especially if I'm, in a firm like mine where I'm still doing those more due diligence or, the more junior tasks.
Thank you. Chris or Maria?
You go first, Maria.
Okay. You can answer when the change will happen, because that's a great question. But thank you so much for bringing this. I think my opinion is that lawyers that know how to use AI will outperform lawyers that do not. So my advice to you would be learn, really take an interest, read about it, start using on your day-to-day, start playing with it, and that will help you in your career, because that's helping me in my career, and I see that it is necessary for next steps and where we're going. Just avoiding it, to be honest, I think that there is no point. But that's my personal opinion.
I fully, 200% agree with your opinion, Maria. I have to give a lecture next month at the law faculty in the university in Ghent. And the title they provided me, I didn't choose it, Is There Still a Future for Us? So it's very uncomfortable to give that lecture, but that's exactly the message I'm going to give. I think your senior lawyer who's training you today at a law firm might not have sufficient eye for it, but in that case, do it for yourself. Show interest, read about it, experiment. In your free time, to the extent that we have free time, but show interest and develop the skills, because the combination of that skills, how you can work with those tools, will make the difference with those who might have excellent legal research and review skills. And don't misinterpret me, they are still very important, but it will not be sufficient. You also need to develop the other skills. And then on your question for the timeline, that's a very difficult one. First of all, I think it will take longer than we are afraid of, but it will also be sooner than we think. So let's say a time frame, it will not be next year, not in 2 years, but within 5 years, we will see a complete shift. We see the first signs. I only know the numbers for the Netherlands and now for Belgium, but the major law firms for the judicial year that now started in September, they are hiring on average like 20% less trainees already. So that's a major shift. Okay, these people might then go to do other legal professions, but when I speak with in-house counsels, a general counsel, VP legal, usually the inflow from young lawyers in the corporate environment, they come from the law firms. But if there are less young lawyers starting at the law firms, it will be very difficult for corporate legal departments to find already educated, well, you're all educated when you get your graduation at university, so you know about law, but with all respect, you don't know yet about giving legal advice. That's something you have to learn on the spot. So that will be a challenge. But those that compete in that technological race, in teaching themselves how these things work, they will have a substantial benefit over the others, which also will allow us to find answers to those open questions about privileged documents, about confidentiality. If we know how these things work, it would even not be a question. You just then don't do it, because you know it will show up somewhere, at some one moment in time.
Yes, I agree. And actually, to summarize the answer, the time is now. I spoke to a lawyer, and he said, I did something, I always use 6 hours for that, I did it in 1.5. It was in insolvency filing.
But I think the fact that you're here is already a good first starting point.
Exactly, so the time is now, and the time for a beer maybe downstairs at the bar for who wants is now too. So I would like to give over to you, so we can close the forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you.